evening, gentlemen. We've just played in the European Carabao Cup and lost 2-0 to Paris Saint-Germain away from home. Second game out of 6. Is it panic stations, or are we just not going to care that much because it was the second game out of 6 and we've got 4 more games to turn this around?
You've just hit the nail on the head. It's second game out of 6. We've just come out of a tough run of fixtures. We're in the middle of a tough run of fixtures as well. We're Liverpool on Sunday. I just think it was horses for courses tonight. And yes, tonight was an important game, but in the aspect of where we currently are in our season, it wasn't. PSG, I'll be honest, I thought PSG, first 15 minutes, did well. They were the better team. But then I thought as soon as they scored a goal, it was all us. I just thought we made bad choices at the wrong time. We haven't got a finisher. Players were kind of played in the wrong position because Sterling isn't a number 9. I thought Grealish was off. There was a few players that were not
a little bit impotent in the 18-yard box of the opposition is the words you're looking for, Martin. Alan?
Yeah.
Well, it's not panic stations because we've got 4 games to play. So we've got plenty of games to recover from this. It was disappointing, yes. I thought tactically we were a bit naive at times. We played, as soon as they scored, I don't think, it played a little bit into their hands because they sat back on us and played on the counter after that, which they did. We had our moments where we could have scored, and we didn't take those chances. And those moments against big sides, we all know we have to take those chances. And I thought our wide players, Grealish and Mahrez, are very disappointing because all they ever did was come inside into a packed low block.
I think Grealish more than Mahrez. I mean, as everyone who knows this channel knows, I am not sold on Riyad Mahrez. I never have been. But Jack Grealish with £100 million price tag, he looks like a little lost lamb on the left wing. He's not a left winger. He is absolutely not. We brought him in to beat the low block, and we brought him in to have penetrating runs at the defence of the opposition. And you tell me how he's supposed to do that when he's tied to the corner flag. It's just totally ineffectual.
I was, when I saw the lineup when he came out, obviously this morning where I am, when I got up, and I was a bit worried that Sterling was playing down the middle, I'll be honest with you, because it doesn't suit the way he plays.
You're not wrong, Alan, but you've got to play Raheem Sterling in some games, and he's not going to play at Anfield on Sunday. So Raheem Sterling, whether we like it or not at the minute, on his current form, in a Manchester City shirt, I need high stress, because in an England shirt, he's on fire. But in a Manchester City shirt at the minute, Raheem Sterling is not going to get games at Anfield. He's not going to get games at Stamford Bridge. So he's got to play in the other competitions. And the Champions League, this is where he's got to recover his form. It's an ineffectual game for him again tonight, but I think there's reasons beyond Raheem Sterling. See, you're placing the book at Raheem Sterling's feet, but for me personally, Raheem Sterling without a striker, he's useless because a striker draws 2 or 3 players away from him, opens up the space for Raheem Sterling to make a penetrating run into, and Raheem Sterling can't generate that on his own. He's not that type of player. So, yes, Raheem Sterling's going to look useless constantly because we're not using him to his full attributes, and we're not utilising his assets at all.
Well, to me, he's a wide player, preferably the right hand side. If he plays, he runs at people, causes problems because he's got lots of pace. Playing him down the middle, he doesn't seem to me to play the right runs. He doesn't make the right moves. He had 2 chances today, one with a header that hit the bar, and then just in the second half when he got sort of clean through on the inside left position where he should have scored, and he fluffed his lines. It doesn't suit him.
Martin, why is Phil Foden not getting starts in European games for Manchester City?
Crazy.
Why is Phil Foden not getting a game, Martin? Yes, he's come back from injury recently, but if you find me one person on this planet that can tell me that Kevin De Bruyne, who's also been injured recently, he's not still playing on an injury. What is it about Phil Foden and this team? Why can't he get a start? Because we look a way better team with Phil Foden in it. Alan said it before on a live stream. Alan thinks that Phil Foden's probably our second best player at the club. I'd love to know who the first best is, because for me, Phil Foden is the best player at the club.
Yeah, he probably is at the moment on form. Phil Foden made a difference when he came on. It was a lot more penetrating, direct. It was a lot more tricky. It was causing PSG a lot more issues.
Yeah. I mean, one of the arguments, let me just clarify something. One of the arguments that you made during the live stream, Martin, was that perhaps Phil Foden was being saved for Sunday. Well, you can say that, but why wasn't Kevin De Bruyne and Bernardo Silva being saved for Sunday? Bernardo Silva is critical to having our team, absolutely critical to having our team. So he can't afford to be injured for Sunday. He has to play on Sunday as well. And Kevin De Bruyne has to play. All three of those have to play on Sunday. So why is it one rule for one and one rule for another? What's Phil Foden not doing?
For me, I was surprised KDB played tonight. Especially we all know he doesn't look like he's carrying an injury. For me, this is going to sound, I know it's all if buts and maybes. I think if Gundogan was fit tonight, I think Gundogan would have played and not Bernardo. I genuinely think it was to play KD. I get what you're saying. KDB plays, Bernardo plays. Why shouldn't Foden play? And I think this is Pep still trying to manage players, manage games, manage the calendar. You should say. And for me, I totally agree what you're saying. Foden, if they're playing, Foden should have played. But for me, the only thing I can say is he probably was saving him for Liverpool. But then on the other side of the coin, people say, well, why can't Foden play 3 games in a week? He's young enough, he's fit enough, but why can't he do it? But the other side of the coin, you remember, Foden did play against Wickham, but so did KDB. Bernardo didn't. I think Bernardo we have to be careful of, which is a bit worrying, because if we're going to play him every single game like we're doing at the minute, he's eventually going to need a rest. He is going to get burnt out, especially with the way Bernardo plays. He runs the most on the pitch. You look at the stats, he will do the most running of any player, not just in Man City, but in the opposition. He will run and run and run all day long. And eventually that will catch up to him.
What were the main problems with that starting 11 tonight? Because the starting 11 for this video is going to be on the screen. So what was wrong with that starting 11 tonight?
Sterling at number 9. I understand what you're saying about Grealish. Trouble is, Grealish has played this left-hand side from the get-go. And that's probably the worst he's played
I don't
tonight.
think Grealish has had a good game in a City shirt. People keep telling me that Grealish is having good moments and good times, but £100 million Jack Grealish is massive question. I just shrug my shoulders when I look at Jack Grealish. Why is he not playing centrally?
He doesn't choose the price tag though.
Yeah, forget the price tag then. Why is he starting out wide on the left? It's a waste of asset. Absolute waste of asset. Let's build the world's fastest Formula 1 car and have Martin drive it. What's the point?
Rob. Tonight, I would have had Foden on the left from the start. Okay. I would have either played Grealish in the middle or Bernardo in that middle pocket where Bernardo was. Okay. One or the other. Right. And to me, we bought Grealish to come into the squad, not into the team, into the squad. Right. Everyone's a squad player. Don't think that negatively, Martin. I can see your face. What I'm saying is, every player has to be rotated, including Grealish. So what I'm saying
that's my question, Alan. Grealish hasn't been rotated so far.
Listen, I know he's not been rotated. What I'm saying is, I'd have played Foden from the start on the left-hand side. Okay? I would have played Sterling on the right-hand side or Gabi Jesus on the right-hand side. I would have played Grealish or Bernardo in that role with KDB and Rodri behind. The only quandary is who do you play in that false 9 position? Do you play Torres?
Yeah,
or do you?
I agree with you. You're not getting a disagreement out of me, Alex. And what I just want to reiterate at this point during the video, because there's going to be some people going, at the start of the video, you told us this wasn't an important game. Still maintain that fact. It wasn't an important game. There's 4 games to come in the group stages that are important. What we're talking about is we're trying to assess if let's say that this game was the first leg of a quarter final, and we need to find a way to beat Paris Saint-Germain by more than 2-0 when we play them. You know what I mean? That's how you've got to look at these fixtures. What can you improve? What can you change? Regardless of whether it's a dead rubber or not. We would be as analytical about a pre-season friendly.
Yeah. We're not at panic stage. We're not at panic stages yet. If we lose our next game, that you would start worrying. But let's get it right. When this group came out, there was a very strong possibility that we would finish second in the group. Would you agree with that? Before we even started this group,
yeah,
I thought
absolutely. And I said that's fine. I said finishing second in this group is absolutely fine. It's absolutely fine.
And PSG, quite rightly, were favourites to go through on top. Okay, we're still in a good position to finish second, possibly get first if we beat PSG at the Etihad. Okay, but on goal difference. So it's not the end of the world. Yes, it was disappointing performance. I didn't think it was that good a performance. Martin might disagree, which is fine. I thought we were good in patches. I thought we were naive the way we played. And when PSG went narrow and to a low block, we played into their hands by coming inside all the time with Grealish and Mahrez. Not once did they go down the outside and cross it. Not once. Foden did when he came on. First two minutes, he beat their fullback and whacked it across, and it caused panic. I just felt that we didn't use intelligence on the pitch at times when we went forward, and when we did have moments when we did have a chance to score, we didn't take them. That's and they did. They had
one of the biggest reasons that we don't take our chances is because we haven't got a clinical finisher on the pitch. Not one of those players. For as good as all of those players are, none of them are clinical finishers. Not even De Bruyne's a clinical finisher. He's not.
But with all, do you agree, Rob?
Look at any.
Rob, do you agree that Sterling should have scored with the header and Bernardo Silva should have scored with?
Yeah, but listen. Yes, he should have, but.
Yeah.
In games that you win 6-0, you still have those ones you miss, Alan. So we can't put it on the shoulders of those two chances.
Yeah. But and also Sterling in the beginning of the second half. If we'd have scored there, that's one each, different game then. Against big sides like PSG are a big team now, whether we like it or not, they are a big side. When we get those chances away from home, we have to start taking these chances.
I mean, I have to say that if we would have scored a goal, it probably would have got under their skin and really put them on the rack.
Absolutely.
See, for me, I get what I wouldn't. My point about Grealish is, I think Grealish, and this is going to sound like I'm totally double backing on myself. I'm tracking back on what I said about the price tag. Yes, Grealish didn't choose the price tag, but when you spend that kind of money, I think you start getting into realms where you do have to play them most games. Yeah. You have to do it. Same with Diaz. Diaz comes in and he plays every game. Diaz very rarely gets rested.
Martin, we've got a big squad. You've got to rotate. That includes him.
I know, I agree with you, but
we've played this game before at Manchester City. We played this game with Yaya Toure, where Yaya Toure played regardless of what form or what care he had. There were some times Yaya Toure came on the pitch for City and couldn't give a toss to be in Manchester, but he still played because he was a big player. So I thought we're past that as a team. So the fact that someone's got a price tag on the red should not guarantee a start ever. It's about form and ability.
I mean, the thing with the false nine, we have to be careful. So we're going to end up like we're standing like Groundhog Day. We knew this was coming. We knew it was. But it's
the whole team formation and the whole way we play is square pegs round hole because we haven't got that 9 or that 10. And that's like you just said then, that is going to be a problem all season long, and it's going to be a recurring theme all season long. Unless Liam Delap comes in and starts tearing up trees, or by some miracle we sign Haaland in January, which is highly unlikely, we're going to be saying these same things all season. Not having a striker is going to cost us in games.
The question I've got to ask is, and I know people are going to say is, I know fans and in the ground now is different. Last season we had no number 9, and we were still creating and we're putting them away. I think the difference between this year and last year is, last year we were generally putting them away. We've also changed Gabby's position now. Gabby when he was playing, he was coming in and he got the odd goal. He's now playing on the wing, still getting the odd goal. So I think it's like anything. It's like anything that you do in life. If you can trundle along for so long and things go well.
Well, I'll tell you a big difference, Martin. A big difference for me is that one player's changed. If you look at it like this on paper, one player has changed from last season. Jack Grealish is now playing instead of Ilkay Gundogan. Ilkay Gundogan was a central player. Jack Grealish is a wide player. So realistically, if you look at this season, the biggest criticism you can say is we don't attack through the middle.
No, it's always down
and
the
that's
flank.
probably a big reason for it, is the fact that one player's been switched out and he's another wide player. So we've got so much width. We've got width from the left back, width from the right back, width from Mahrez, width from Sterling, width from everyone on the pitch, but nobody driving the ball through the middle of the pitch. Now, I'm not saying Ilkay Gundogan's the best player in the world at that, but at least he's a player that will do that.
But it's like tonight, I mean, I made a point. I said Walker wasn't great. Now, what I mean by Walker is, if you look at the way our fullbacks go, Cancelo and Walker will tend to overlap and they put balls in. When you've got Mahrez and you've got Grealish, who are sort of like we all said, we're going into traffic, that nullifies your whole point of your fullbacks. You're nullifying them out because you're asking Walker to overlap Mahrez, but Mahrez is already going ahead of him, and you end up just like you said in this build-up spaghetti junction traffic jam. And you don't. And the thing is, like you just said, last season we weren't going as down the flanks as we were. We did intricate football down the middle. The other thing we had last year was we had Edison, in Plan B, wellying the ball down the other end.
Yeah, absolutely.
Look at Gundogan against Spurs when he put Sanchez, his face in the mud. Mm-hmm. That's now not happening. So what I'm saying is, I think we've always had that problem for 2 years. Last season, things went for us. Mm-hmm. This season, it's not. And that problem smacks you in the face a lot harder.
Well, let's sum it up now by saying, Alan, the next 2 games we've got in the Champions League are a double-header against Club Brugge, home and away. Now, after those two games, if everything goes to plan, we'll be on 9 points in the group, which is pretty much qualification. So it ain't the end of the world. It ain't panic stations, and we've just got to go out and do our job against Club Brugge now, haven't we?
Yeah, both games, and then try and get something out of the PSG game. And that's it.
And the other Leipzig game. We can get a point out the Leipzig game. We can even afford to lose. Listen, we can even afford to lose the game at home against Paris Saint-Germain. I don't think we will. I think we'll be a different team by that game. But
well, if we go out and be positive and win the next, we beat Club Brugge twice and Leipzig, we're through. We're done.
Yeah, absolutely. So there's no panic. There's no emergency. There's no.
No, and there's one thing I will say. We all know City, when it is on the line, 9 times out of 10 they turn up.
Yeah, absolutely.
There wasn't really.
Well, that's my main takeaway about tonight is, and I stressed this through the entire stream, there was nothing at stake for Paris Saint-Germain tonight. Nothing at stake. So they played without pressure. If you apply the screw to Paris Saint-Germain, they crumble. So, yeah, anyway, thank you, gentlemen. It's a disappointing night, footballing-wise, because obviously we're City fans and we want to win. But the big picture, it's pretty irrelevant. It is what it is. It's a good night for newspapers because they'll sell lots of newspapers with Lionel Messi's face on it, even though Lionel Messi was a question mark for 89 of those 90 minutes, but whatever. I guess he's back, and I guess he's a GOAT again and all the rest of that nonsense. But yeah, cheers, gentlemen. Thank you.